You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family. Well, hi, everybody. This is Glenn the Geek, founder of the Horse Radio Network and host of Horses in the Morning Daily podcast for the last 15 years now. Welcome to the WESA Retail Roundup. The Retail Roundup is your go-to virtual hub for all things retail. Join panel discussions, learn from webinars, share your thoughts, ask questions, and connect with your community. We host a virtual event or share educational content every Monday via the Retail Roundup Facebook group. If you're not a member, go over to Facebook and click on Retail Roundup. Just search for that in your search bar. You'll find it and ask to join. Today, we have a special Retail Roundup conversation with an old friend of mine. Lorinda Van Newkirk is joining us. We're going to learn how to build a stronger, more successful relationship with sales reps from someone who understands both sides of the table. Lorinda will share insider tips on communication, placing orders, handling challenges, and working together for long-term success. Now, I was a retailer, and I dealt with sales reps, too, so I know a little bit about half this conversation. I also worked on the other end, on the wholesale end, too, so I kind of get it from both sides. So it should be fun. I'm excited to talk about this today. Lorinda is a powerhouse in the Western world, a WESA board member and the founder of Lucky Chuck, with years of experience navigating the sales floor, building product lines, and developing genuine relationships with store owners and influencers alike. She brings a unique perspective from all sides of the retail brand dynamic. Hey, it's good to talk to you again.
Thank you for having me on the show. Long time no see.
I know. It
Literally.
Should be fun.
Yeah,
Because I started in retail in the 90s. We had a store, and we were the second ones to go online. In the days when you couldn't even buy online, they still had to send a check. It was more like a catalog online.
Yes.
And then I did work for Bit of Britain and a couple other companies as a consultant for years. So I've been both sides of this, too. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say about it and how it maybe has changed since then, too.
Yes, it's definitely a different, even from the change of when Gypsy sold in 2015 to my reps then to my reps now. It's definitely evolving and changing daily.
And of course, when we go to WESA, all those times we've been there, I think I'm at 36 or 37 now. We see it, we see the reps, we see everybody doing their thing there. And you can tell which ones have a really good relationship with, have a really good relationship with their stores, and which stores have a really good relationship with their reps. It's really cool that way.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I always was my rep that I used to have, Brenda Fambro for Gypsy Soul. I mean, she was like a walking encyclopedia. She could tell you how many kids they had, grandkids, the dogs' names, the cats' name. I mean, she knew everything about everyone. And so when I started Lucky Chuck and I was in the showroom without Brenda Fambro, and people would walk in and they're like, "Oh, Lorinda, da 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 da," and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, who is this? What do I do? Where's Brenda Fambro?" I mean, she can remember everything. She still can to this day. It's incredible.
And apparently we are live today, so we have a couple of people joining us, Wendy and Laura. Good to see you all here. And Sophia, I see, is out there as well. So I have some questions here for you, and we're going to spend about 30 minutes together, and we'll hope we all learn something today together. So what are some of the things that sales reps often wish retailers knew about their role, but they rarely say, right? What are some of the things from the sales rep side that you wish retailers knew?
Well, and it's such a different time. Like I said before, reps used to have their route, and every 6 weeks they'd take off in their motorhome, like my mother-in-law or Brenda and Joey Fambro, and go hit all their accounts, every drop or every 6 weeks. And they knew to order. And in today's world with Fashion Go and Fair and all the different things that are out there, stores are about convenience and however I can get it ordered, get done. And at the end of the day, people forget, or these stores forget, that your rep's there to help you. Your rep's there to guide you. And when you order through other platforms, that takes away from your rep, in which we are on Fair. I used to be on Fashion Go. I'm not anymore, but I am for Lucky Chuck. And I look at it, it's just like a big open mall to get seen. And then I tell the reps, like, you have to go get them off Fair because they take too much money. But stores forget they get so caught up in the day to day, and we're so used to convenience and the push of one button with Amazon that you forget to make that relationship and that conversation and build that relationship. And that's how that rep's making a living. They're there to help you with your store buy the right product. And they're seeing all different types of stores across the United States, depending on what their area is, where they may have an idea or something that could help you. And so when you don't utilize that rep, it's really a hindrance, I feel like, to the store, because again, reps touch and feel and see so many other things. And at the end of the day, they're not there to just sell you. They're there to be successful. It's a win for both of you, because if they sell you a product and it never moves off the shelf, you're not going to buy again.
Now, we always had a great relationship with our reps, and we counted on them because they knew your area too, and they would tell us, don't carry that, because the store down the street bought 50 of them. They haven't sold any, so they know that stuff. Does a rep get a commission if it's bought directly?
So every company is different. Any of the reps that I have, if it's their account, their territory, I don't care how the order goes in. It's that rep's territory. I pay my reps because I feel like this is a team. This is something we are building together. And I don't ever want them to feel that we're not a team and that I don't have their back and they don't have my back. So I consult with a lot of different wholesalers that, they're like, well, if the rep doesn't email if they don't send it in, and if they don't say, and they don't, that just creates animosity, and I have one of my reps, Christy McClurry. She's new to the scene, but she's phenomenal. And I want her to feel like we are a team and we're here to do this together. And I have 4 reps now, and I want them all to feel that way. So we are a team, but everybody gets to decide that for their business, and that's their own rule. But for my businesses, once I say Texas is yours, I'm like, you talk to them. This is your account. So they get it. They get paid no matter how the order comes in, other than fair. So,
and I think too, from the retailer's point of view, you're more likely to utilize your rep if your rep is responsive, right?
Yes.
If I know my rep's going to take a week to get back to me, then I'm going to put the order in, right? And not going to do it through the rep because I need it in now. And I think that makes a big difference. Yes,
I'm a big, we are in a society of right now. And granted, Christy and I just had this conversation. This weekend was one of the first weekends she didn't answer her emails, and she's like, it's Easter.
Yeah.
So, and I love that about her. I'm the same way. I have to tell myself, Lorinda, the email will be there in the morning. But we're in a society of people want instant gratification. They want instant reply. So every rep's different. And if you communicate with your stores, hey, I'm going to be out on vacation, or I don't answer emails on the weekend, but they know Monday morning, first thing, they're going to hear from you, then they don't have that anxiety to go around you or go direct to me, which with me, it doesn't matter, but not every wholesale company is that way.
Well, plus from the rep's point of view, if you're a store I like to deal with because you're pleasant, friendly, and, I'm going to get back to you sooner.
Yes.
That's just human nature, right? I mean, it is what it is. I've been in sales a long time, and you're always going to get back to the customer that you like, right? And likes you quicker.
Well, and communication, and that's like we tell all of our stores in the beginning. We tell them when they write orders, because we do 4 drops a year, and tons of lines do several drops. And I try to be very transparent and tell the reps to have the same conversation with their stores. If you guys are in a tight spot and you can't take this order, you can't afford this order, or you can only take half the order, do not ghost us. Just tell us. Like, we get it. We all are in the same revolving money coming in, going out, and so it's super important for us and our team at Lucky Chuck that we keep that communication open, and we say it to the stores. If you ever, especially if they're a new boutique or a young store, we tell them, just communicate to us like what's going on so we can help you or cancel the order, like whatever we got to do. Just don't make us call and call and call or make our reps feel awkward. I feel like, again, that just goes back to respect and communication.
And I think at a time like this now, too, take the tariffs, for example, when there's a tricky time, I think that's when I relied on the reps the most. It's like, what's going on? What's really the story? What's really going to happen? Should I buy extra now? Should I, all of those questions you have to be getting at this point.
Yes. No, I literally just got off the phone because I could do co-branding. And so our shipment that's on the water right now, our June delivery, missed the tariffs by 1 day. So 167% just got put onto my stocks. And I'm doing everything I can not to raise my prices. That's just everybody's like, raise your prices.
But you also can't eat 167%.
No, you can't. But you just keep working at it. You just keep figuring and working. And so I'm coming up with other solutions, and we're moving factories and doing all kinds of things. But yes, again, I've been communicating, to my reps and communicating to everyone, other than I'm not making a decision until I have to make a decision. So today the decision's getting made. Today's a big day.
Well, I feel like this is a very timely conversation because I think this is going to be the most tumultuous year since COVID. I think, this is going to be kind of that tumultuous COVID kind of year, or at least it's setting up to be. Yes. Whether you agree with tariffs or don't agree, it doesn't change the fact that it's going to be kind of tumultuous for everybody on the wholesale and retail side.
Yes.
Yeah. And in our world, where a lot of products still are made overseas, it's just the way it is. And until that changes, we're going to have to deal with it.
Well, and any kind of swing like COVID, any of that, bad economy, I always tell people this is the chance to show, are you really in business to be in business, and your numbers and you take care of your stores and your accounts, because it kind of cleans the slate of the people that are just pretending to be in business.
Yeah, that's interesting. We have had those years. I remember 2008 was that year, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Even 9/11, when you go back that far, was that year too.
Yes.
It was the same thing.
Yes.
So we're talking about communication. What are the common mistakes that you see between reps and retailers? Just lack of it?
Lack of communication, not showing up, if the rep messes up or if we mess up an order as a company, we always are like, hey, we did it. We'll fix it, whatever we need to do. But again, it just comes down to communication and getting, we do have trouble getting owners on the phone or, taking an order or saying they're going to take an order or asking for something. And then we can't ever get communication, or between me, the rep, and the store owner, there may be some mix up. And so we can't ever get great communication, which everyone is busy. But at some point, if there's a problem or an issue, just give us 5 minutes of your time. Let us know how we can help you better, because at the end of the day, this is a partnership between the wholesaler, manufacturer, the rep, and the store. And I have a lot of people that in this business on my side that are like, I don't even want to deal with reps. People just go to direct. And I just have a hard time. Like there's something magical of having the rep and the salesperson. And it's a different relationship than with the owner. Store owners tell reps different things they won't tell me, So, and I don't ever want to make my reps the bill collectors. I don't want to, they're the happy, joyous, right? The order people.
Mm-hmm. I always had a problem with that too, by the way, that when the company made the reps be the bill collectors. I think the company's responsibilities, their accounting department should be the bill collectors. That shouldn't fall on the reps. It's not the reps' fault that the company client didn't pay.
Yes.
That was always my feeling on that too.
Well, we kind of teeter, like if we can't get them on the phone, I will go back to the rep and be like, hey, we've sent emails, we've called, the card's not going through, can you just massage this?
Well, usually when you tell the rep that there's no more, we're not going to take any more orders from that company until it's paid, then it motivates the rep to actually get on it too.
Yes.
Yeah,
but luckily,
that's true.
Everybody, everybody's been great, so nothing's been too crazy. I mean, we're dealing with socks here. So
how do you think most reps like to communicate? Email, phone, text?
I think it's person to person. I mean, I communicate with them all different ways. And my old school reps are older than me, more distinguished reps are email or a phone call. My young reps are a text. So, but it just depends on the person and it depends on the store. I mean, we have stores that literally it's in their notes. They want to be text. They don't want to be emailed. They want to be called. I mean, we still have a couple stores. We have to mail them their invoices. They did ask to be faxed. And I'm like, sorry.
Does anybody still have a fax machine?
No, people do. And I'm like, no, I'm not faxing you. Like, you literally click the email and print it off on your own ink, please. So, no. Yes.
Yeah, that's one I haven't heard in a while. Yeah. I know doctors' offices still do it and hospitals still do it. But
it's
I think
crazy to me.
I know.
Technology is so much better than a fax.
Yeah. So the question is, when's the right time to place an order and how can retailers plan ahead to avoid missing out on key timelines, on key deadlines?
Well, I'm going to say, I want you to place the order as far out as
about 3 months ago. That's right.
Yes, yeah. You're already late. And again, it varies on what the store can handle financially. If you're a bigger store, which, our box stores, they're buying 6, 9 a year out. In January, we show a full year in advance because a lot of those stores, we only get to see them in the January WESA market. They don't come to August, which please come to August market if you are a store listening. I have a beautiful showroom and great cocktails and great food. Come see me.
I'll be over. Okay.
Yes,
I'll be over.
Yes, please.
Nothing else. You and I will have a drink.
Yeah, that's right. Come to August market, please. I even have non-alcoholic stuff too. So, but we only see them once a year. So we, want to pre-book that. And then it kind of shows us a trend because I pull things from our line that if they're not booking or I don't feel, I'm like, we had people ask for this, but they're not buying it. I'll pull it, from the line. But it all varies because some stores cannot book out because
right. They're smaller. Yeah.
They're small and they don't know what financially they can or can't do. And I do feel that's where we get, some of them get in a little trouble because cash flow is a real thing and people forget to think about that sometimes.
Well, it's terrifying for little stores. I was one to book out a year in advance because again, we don't know how Christmas season was going to be. We don't know what's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. And I have seen, there's been some complaints I've seen in a couple of the Facebook pages for retailers about the costs of shipping going up. And, less orders helps that, right? If you're ordering a lot of small, then your shipping's going to eat into it. So there's so much on both sides of that conversation.
Well, everything is just expensive. I mean, I just worked on some budgets because I warehouse everything in Sheridan, Wyoming. And when I look at what I'm spending, to be in that warehouse, I mean, it's a lot. And then our people, they'll order 2 pair of socks and they're like, well, that was $8. And I'm like, I don't control the shipping rates. I mean, you have to order more than 2 pair of $20 socks. I can't control that. So, and I think people too are so used to, I mean, Amazon, when you buy on Amazon and you buy on, we're not that, you have to, we can't control that. So it's just part of the beast.
You mean you don't have a fleet of 1,000 trucks running around delivering stuff?
No, I only wish. I don't wish.
So I think, too, one of the things that reps can do, and, they do, I live in Ocala, Florida, so we have 20 tack shops within 10 miles of me, right?
Yeah.
And one of the cool things that we see reps doing here all the time is actually helping out in the stores. Either they're special days or they're there for an event or whatever it is. The reps that are there in the stores, I think, especially when it comes to supplements and things like that, the rep, their feed, stuff like that, it's even more important then, I think.
Yes. The pot. So we've done a few pop-ups. That's the cool term.
Yeah. The
Yes.
modern term. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And we do that also. And it's a great partnership. It's great publicity. I will personally admit I suck on the retail floor anymore. When I started retail and I was like, knew every fit, I could fit anybody, loved it, thrived on it. Now I'm just like, just buy the socks already.
I was the tall boot guy that had to try tall boots on people, English boots. Yeah. I only ever had to cut one pair off because.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, that was a fun one.
They're not trying. They're not trying on the socks.
Is there anything that's happening now on that front? So the special events and things like that you're going, I've seen this really work in a retailer recently.
I think the biggest thing, if you're a small store, you really need to be real with your customers or be in touch with your customers, whether it's VIPs or giving people that extra TLC, because that's missing. I mean, if you just want to buy something, you can just go online, buy it, do whatever. But, the stores like the Maverick and the Stockyards that we did a pop-up with, any husband can call that store and buy something for their wife because the sizes are there. They know their customers. They have trunk shows all the time. They're interacting with their customers. And it's a ton of work. I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah, shows and events are tough. But,
yes.
The ones that I saw really successful, the retailers this last holiday were the ones who had events.
Yes. And if you're having events, inviting your customers in, making your customers feel special. And if you're doing trade shows, I am not above. I mean, when I had a retail store I used to do 48 shows a year across California, Nevada, Arizona.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it was a lot. Well, I was young. Lots of fire. But I was putting flyers on every bathroom door, every car, I was not leaving no stone unturned. And you can still do that today with social media, where people go, coffee shops, whatever that is in your town, but really being connected, because at the end of the day, people want connections. People want to feel connected, belong, and feel that they are important to somebody. And if you can make that person, when they walk in your store and you say, oh my gosh, hi, Cindy, how are you today? And can remember one thing, you have no idea how that's going to transfer to that person's heart and then how they want to spend their money with you. And it's, again, you have to be connected to what you're doing. It's just not setting up 4 walls, throwing some stuff on some shelves and a cash register. They can go to Amazon for that.
Yeah. And now that's even more important than it ever was.
Yes.
And well-trained employees, too, are even more important than it ever was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it goes to the same with your employees, because that is the number one struggle for all these stores is great employees. So good luck.
Yeah. And 2, I think, we used to say in marketing, it used to be 3 touches were what you needed to get it to sink in. And now I think it's higher than that. I think right now we're going on 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Because we're being flooded with so much all the time. And I think one of the things we have to do as smaller retailers is constantly be in their face somehow to remind them we're still here. And that's why the events and things like that work, is because it just reminds people you're there, because they know Amazon is there. And that's very easy. It's right on their phone. They can get that in 2 seconds, right?
Yeah.
But to drive and go to a place, they just kind of have to be reminded that you're there and you're still doing things and you're in front of them once a month somehow, whether it's the email list or social media or whatever. We really need to be in front of them all the time, because that sticky marketing only works if you're in front of them all the time.
Well, and if they know, it's so great for me to call a store that I use and be like, hey, I've got this dinner I've got to go to. I have, I bought this, but I need this to go with it. And they're like, no problem. We'll have 10 things ready for you to swing by. Or they're texting me pictures, or, customer service, it still exists if you want to be a part of it.
Well, and that's the reason you'll stay in business.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
or you're not going.
You've got to be excited and want to be in the midst of it. It's just, and if you're not excited about your store or your reps, why aren't you? And how do you make that shift? Those are the questions you need to be asking yourself. why? Like, what is my why? Why am I here?
And I think customer service includes also your contact through social media, your contact through email. All of that is involved in customer service, right? It's marketing, but it's also customer service. Hopefully you're providing information that they actually need or want, and reminding them that, yeah, I should get my new helmet replaced because it's 5 years old and my old one's dead. Whatever that is, you're the one reminding them and somebody else isn't.
Yes, and that's, you have to bring some kind of value. I get, I show horses, so I'm at tons of events, and it's just mind blowing to me. These girls or guys, whoever have these stores set up at shows, beautiful booth, great stuff. I buy something, they really, they're like, oh, scan our QR code, which you're gonna lose it on I want to follow them on Instagram, but then they don't show up in the algorithm. But they're collecting you pay, they send you an email, text you. They never collected any data on me or nothing. And I really want to tell anybody listening that if you own a store, your data on your customers is worth more than the stuff on your shelves. That is your golden ticket. So I am challenging you to get that in your database, because that's how you can communicate right to your customers.
That's the reason that the Home Depots of the world say, do you want your receipt emailed to you? It has nothing to do with emailing your receipt. No,
they don't care.
Data has been for the last 15 years. It's been a data world, and now more than ever. But, it's led up to the point where you're at now, where if you have the data, you're doing much better.
Well, and what if you want to sell your store someday?
Yep.
That's what's worth. When
I sold the Horse Radio Network to Equine Network, it was, I provided 70 PDFs. They wanted the data. That's what they wanted, was that information about what data I had, because that's the thing that was the valuable part of the whole thing.
Yes.
Yep. And it doesn't matter what you're selling. It's the same way, How should, let's get into the hard questions. We're going to end on the hard ones.
Okay, great.
So we all know that retailers and reps have issues sometimes. There's a problem with the order. It's screwed up. The customer's not happy. The retailer's customer's not happy because it got screwed up or whatever. By the way, I just saw a study that was by Business Week or one of those that said 70% of problems in business are miscommunication. Goes back to what we talked about earlier. 70% of problems in business, issues that businesses have, are miscommunication between the customer or the whoever. It's just miscommunication. So how should a retailer approach a rep when there's a problem with an order and, delivery delays and all of that? I know reps, cringe when all of that happens because it's not their fault either, but yet it's kind of their job to track it down, right?
Right. So, again, communication. We try to be proactive as a company to get that information out through e-blast or phone calls or whatever, if there's going to be an issue. If there's a problem, normally we just what's the problem? We still handwrite all of our orders. So normally it's over an order, whatever. So we have documentation to be this is what you ordered, or this wasn't what you ordered and we screwed up. How can we fix it? Again, it's just having that open communication and knowing it's not the end of the world. Unless someone's just ignorant about it, there's always resolution. If somebody isn't calling you back, or, your reps aren't standing up for what they did or didn't do, that's an issue. So again, it's every problem has a solution if everybody's open to finding the solution. But again, we just sent one of our big box stores, one of our reps accidentally put in an order twice, which I would have loved if they just would have said, we'll just keep them both. But we sent a call tag. We're like, hey, the order got put in Shopify twice. We apologize. Called it back, sent them they'd already paid the bill also. So I just cut them a check that same day and got it out in the mail and done. So, there's always going to be issues, but don't be afraid to jump into it and get it fixed. The biggest problem is not getting it handled in a very timely manner. That's the biggest issue.
And I think the most important thing is honesty on both parts.
Yes.
If you screw up, admit it. People know that happens, right? And they're going to be, I'm going to feel much better about it if you're honest that you screwed up than if you're just dancing.
Yes.
And people know when you're dancing too. So, I mean, they know that.
Yeah. I've just, at this age, at this point, I'm like,
yeah, me too.
I have some timers. I put the order in wrong or whatever. We shipped it twice. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I had a guest this morning. I screwed up the time, and then we couldn't do the interview, and we had to postpone it. And I told him, look, I screwed up. I don't know. It was Monday. I screwed up, and he was fine. As long as you're honest about that.
Yes.
There was Wendy had a question. Basically, she's a manufacturer. How do you find reps? And I know that's getting tougher too. So, do you have an answer for that one?
That is a great question. And I struggle with that too. And when I had the 13 years of Gypsy Soul, I had probably Brenda Fambro was always my rep, and she was a unicorn. And that's what I always, when you find the rep, they're unicorns. It's just word of mouth and putting it out there. We're looking for reps. And not all reps that I've hired have been a fit, because they will promise a lot, some of them, and then they don't produce. And it's
what salespeople promise a lot. Oh.
Yes. But a great.
But that's true of your employees you hire too. It's just a numbers game there.
It is, and it is a dance of finding and asking the right questions, and it's a process to learn what questions to ask for that area and what type of rep they are.
Well, let me stop you there, because I want to, before we run out of time, I'll come back to you. Sophia's watching right now with WESA. Is it possible for people to post on the WESA Retail Roundup page if they're looking for reps too? I just wanted to know if that's allowed, so she can answer that.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, didn't mean
No, it's okay. But I just think, at Market's a great place, like going around, talking to reps and just making those connections. And that's really, that's kind of how we started. Through one rep led me to another rep, and they'll have friends that'll say, oh, I have a friend that's over on the East Coast. And so that's how, I found Penny, and she just travels that little sliver of the East Coast where I would never touch or go in those stores or have access. So, and it just word of mouth, and from there.
And other manufacturers too will help you out. Usually they'll say, hey, this rep's good or that rep's not, or, whatever, especially if they're not a direct competitor of yours, but they, they carry similar things, it's whatever, clothing lines or tack or whatever. But yeah, you can get, talking to people you're right, is the best way. It's
just
word of mouth is still
you need to be at WESA.
Yeah, WESA. Yeah, that's true.
WESA,
and,
WESA.
I know. I say it both ways in one show. So the other thing too, on that note, if you do go in August, it is less busy. So you can actually accomplish more business. If you want to talk to other companies, if you want to talk to reps, things like that, it's less busy. It's actually easier in August to get some of those other business things done than the direct retail or, wholesaler relationship than it is in January. I don't know if you agree with that, but.
No, I do. And like I tell people when they first are coming to market, I tell them to come, on the last 2 days, because I'm like, you can't get in to see anybody. They're booked. Mm-hmm. So newer stores or newer accounts that we have, when they ask our advice, I tell them, it's fun to come the busy time, all the parties and everything.
Yeah.
But if you want to be able to wander around and just mosey into wherever, don't come on those last 2 days.
Yeah, that's right. Well, have you ever had the very challenging conversation, about a screw up or whatever that actually ended up being the most positive thing that happened?
Oh, they all turn out positive. They all are positive.
Yeah, for all of us all the time.
Yes. All. I don't really have one off the top of my head. I feel like we are always learning and growing. I have been in the Western industry since I was 16 years old, working in a Western store, probably before then. And with my mother-in-law, Brenda Van Newkirk, she was a rep for so long. I've been very blessed to hear.
Yeah, you kind of grew up in it. Yeah.
She's, it's having her in my ear. And that's probably why I'm more not on the rep side, but I protect my reps, and I want to give them as much as I can, because I feel like they are the wheels of my bus. And without them, my wheels don't go anywhere. So it's important to me to take care of my reps and pay them on what's fair. But everything we go through, we talk about it and try to find the positive in everything and grow from it.
So let's talk before we end here. We have to give a plug for your company and what you actually sell and what you have. So talk about Lucky Chuck.
Lucky Chuck is the most amazing, best socks. It's not even good adjectives, verbs there, that you will ever put on your feet. I have ridden my whole life. And like I said, I've been in the Western industry forever. And nobody has specifically made a boot sock like mine. They make boot socks, but they're not people that actually are riding and out sweating and loping horses and wanting socks that aren't too thick, aren't too thin. And then everyone deserves to have a lucky pair of socks. So with Lucky Chuck, you get that. They're made with hemp, so they're moisture wicking. So you could just be in Texas, sweaty heat, or in Florida. And when you take your socks off, you're like, why are my feet not gross and disgusting like they are with normal synthetic gross socks? So it's been a really fun passion of mine. And I wanted to do socks when I had Gypsy Soul, but we never got there. It took me about 2 years to get the fit just perfect. They're for guys and girls. They're fun colors. They're bright and obnoxious like I am. I'm
looking at them now. Yes.
Uh-huh.
They do fit your personality, by the way.
Yes. So fun quotes, fun colors. I've had people run marathons in them. I have people hike. I have people hunt in them. I mean, they are a performance sock, but I specifically made them to wear with cowboy boots.
And you do subscription boxes. Do they work?
Oh, yeah. Subscription boxes. Yeah. If you have a website, subscription boxes are amazing. If you put great stuff in there. And then add to carts. So anybody that sells boots and you sell Lucky Chuck socks, you immediately should have a pop-up for that sock or whatever, and work for those add-ons. So it's just like when you're at the store and you have to go through the lines with all the junk around you. It's the same thing. You're just still putting stuff in your cart. But no, it's the subscription boxes are great. And we do it for stickers and patches or hats and socks and then the socks.
And you do them. I love this about what you do, because a lot of them only offer the monthly, right?
Yep.
But you offer monthly or quarterly, because I may not want a monthly, right? That's a lot of socks, right? So, I'm gonna pick the quarterly. I like that you offer that option.
Yes. Yeah. Quarterly is great.
And the fun part about that is when you get your quarterly box, you've forgotten you even ordered it, and it comes in. It's just fun, right? So
yes,
yeah.
And the socks. What I didn't know about socks is how much people love getting a great pair of socks.
Oh, my wife is a sock fanatic, so she's the same way. I get it. You do other things though too, right? Clothing and stuff.
We've got just some logoed t-shirts on there. And then we did some blazers with all of our fun patches, because I have so much great artwork that we use on the socks so we put on patches, and then of course, baseball caps. But our baseball caps and socks is what we do.
Very good.
At this time.
That's pending change.
Yes.
But you have to. I mean, you're going to be adding stuff all the time.
Always.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And how can people find it? Where can they order from you? Contact their rep or?
If you're a store, of course, contact your rep or just luckychuck.com and just go to the wholesale page and we'll get you exactly where you need to go. Everything's every way. You can call me. I don't care. Text me. We'll get you taken care of.
Very good. I love it. Well, it's luckychuck.com is where you can find Lorinda. And we thank you for joining us today for WESA's Retail Roundup. Someday we're going to come down with the definitive way to, everybody says it different. We all do.
Well, that needs to be your first question.
Sophia keeps telling me she says it WESA, but I've always said WESA. Yeah, you do too. I know. I think it's about half and half. We're just going to we'll do a vote someday.
I wonder if it's on age. I wonder if there was an age, if it's 50 and over says it one way, 50 and under says it.
Maybe I should just proclaim it, and we'll just proclaim that's the way we're going to say it from now on.
Perfect.
So if you missed part of this, it'll also be available on the Wisdom by WESA podcast. You just search for any podcast player. You'll find there's also other great episodes that go out on there twice a month. You can find it on the WESA Trade Show YouTube channel and also on the WESA website at wesatradeshow.com. And you can join us again on the Retail Roundup every Monday at 12 p.m., 2 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Mountain. Be sure to sign up and join us live by going to the Retail Roundup Facebook group like all of these great people did, Wendy and Chris and Pascal. By the way, we had somebody in here from Costa Rica. Joshua was from Costa Rica. I love that. So, Laura, thank you all for joining us live. We really appreciate it. Lorinda, so good to see you again.
It was great to see
you.
It's
been fun.
Can't wait to
all right.
do it again.
See you in August. I'm going to be there for the drinks, okay? I'm stopping by.
I'll have a special seat and a special cup ready for you.
And I know, I always have to get my wife something while we're there or I get in trouble. So socks, they're perfect.
I got them.
I'm already, all right, I'm already solved.
Yes.
Thanks, Lorinda. See you.
Talk soon.